My brother.
We are live. We are live. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Smoking Jacket broadcast. I am your man, your host, JFerg. With me tonight, we got Sheryl, aka the analyst. We got my man, Doctor Sayso,
What's
and,
happening?
and my brother up in the shy, Mr. Stoney. What's going on?
Hey,
Y'all, welcome to the show, man. We're excited about this show, man. We're just waiting on our special guest to show up tonight, but we are excited about the show. We're glad to have you guys back for another episode. Man, these seem like the episodes are coming back to back. Like we don't even have like a break in between. It seems like we got to start creating seasons, like when the season starts and the season
yeah.
ends. You know what I mean, like,
Well, we're gonna take a 4 week summer break.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
We're gonna take a little 4 week summer break, a little intermission.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have a special co-host today.
Yeah,
We got Chris's daughter. I'm sorry, Chris, you didn't say her name, so
yeah.
you
Jasmine, my bad.
welcome. So, yes,
Hi, Jasmine.
Yeah,
so she gonna chime in
She
tonight and
still
help us.
look like me. Hold on, there. She definitely look like her mama.
Just prettier.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. All right, well, y'all
So
see where I
Chris,
get it from. Yeah,
so we do like we always do, man. Do our round table. Chris, how your week been? What you got going on?
man, definitely week was good, man. Up here and had to come and visit with the daughter, grandkids. I had a conference. Actually, this was a week for conference, and so got the opportunity, pleasure to sit next to her. Told her come on and join me. Actually went to the Great Cigar Lounge today,
Organic connection.
Havana Connections in Chesterfield, Virginia. I'm in Richmond. And so great guy there, Brian. Man, outstanding time. The lounge was just chill, great atmosphere, some great folks in there. So I told him to watch tonight. So definitely he's on YouTube side because he wasn't on Facebook. So Brian, if you're on, man, definitely appreciate you. Appreciate the hospitality. It was my pleasure to come in and sit amongst your patrons or your guests. Had great conversation, great vibe. I mean, man, when I tell you everything was just, chill. She had her first cigar smoking, uh, Moon Trance, sitting next to me smoking that, favorite cigar, but the aromatics of it was great. So, how was your first cigar?
I liked it. It was smooth.
Okay,
Like,
all right. But what I did tell her, don't pick up this habit. You go broke. You go broke.
no, I already got it broken. I've had it already.
Yeah, she's sipping on some tequila today. Michael Jackson. There's Robert right there, sipping on some tequila. And I actually picked up
Yep.
something I don't normally drink, but I found it in barrel proof. So, I'm a barrel proof man, so I'm sipping on some Elijah Craig barrel proof, 118 proof. So I'm sipping slow.
Oh, look who's here.
Yeah.
What's up, Rob?
What's up?
Hey,
Jason, did I have you
Robert.
worried?
Going Rob? Did you have me worried? Nah, I don't know, man. You know how we do it.
I was on the phone with somebody because they just announced from the FTC that non-competition clauses are no longer enforceable. So another manufacturer that has one called me to tell me the story.
Oh, wow.
So I was stuck on the
Wow,
phone.
that's
Okay,
something
that's
that
what's
you
up.
might have to elaborate on when we get to you.
But Rob, what we're doing right now, we just kind of go around the room and everybody kind of talk about what they got going on this week. So we're gonna go to. So I'm gonna introduce you to everybody, Robert. So up at top left, we got Dr. Sayso, Mr. Chris Riley, and his daughter Jasmine, and to my whatever side she's on, we got Sheryl Walker, aka the analyst, and then we got my man StoneyG out in Chicago Cigar Week. I show you. Remember meeting Stoney a couple times.
Nice. How you guys doing?
What's good, brother?
Good.
So look, okay. First of all, Rob, what part of the world are you in right now?
Miami. I got back last night.
Oh, you're actually in Miami. You're
Yeah, for like 3 days.
okay. That's what's up.
I'm going to the Keys actually on Friday for like 5 days. and then I'll be back for a couple days. I got a wedding, and then I go to Bogota for a week, and then New York, and then back to Europe.
Then back to Europe. So how's Europe been treating you? How's the transition been from growing up in Miami, being a native Miami boy, and now being in Europe full time?
It's good, man. Miami sucks. Miami used to be amazing, but you know how I feel about it now. But Europe's good.
Europe's good.
Europe's good.
I still got to make my way over to Spain and check out the scene.
Mhm.
You know, I see you living that life on Instagram. I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong in life right now?
Yeah, it's good over there.
Especially when you were smoking that cigar next to that. I think it was when you posted yesterday. Pretty dope bag.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was in Italy. I had a friend's wedding, and then I was going to like Milan Design Week because my wife's getting a master's in interior design, so she wanted to go see Design Week, and then I spent a week on Lake Como in Italy. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, enough of that. You're killing us right now. Let's talk about Robert Caldwell.
Well, you know, I want to interject. But go give her. I went around the room, give her the analyst, and the time. Yeah.
Analyst, give us your rundown of your week.
Oh, rundown of week. So, Robert, I'm in the Orlando area. So we had Orlando Cigar Fest. What else is happening? I am doing a charity event, Land on Your Feet, in 2 weeks in Tampa. And that's scholarship seed money for kids who don't otherwise have it. And what else am I doing? Dallas Smoke Fest in November. I will be out there. There's so much going on. I have a lot on my calendar. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, and this weekend I am flying up to Atlanta early to do Culture 4 with Mario Griffith under the StoneyG Life brand. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 4 weeks.
Nice.
4 weeks.
And this is Stoney. What's up with you, man? What you got going on, brother?
What's going, brother? Well, pardon me, I'm outside, so it's a little loud over here. But yeah, actually, just had a real busy week. We just partnered with Sister of the Global Movement and did Chicago Rum Fest, which was a great event. We had a great time there. We also did a rum tasting over at White Smoke and Ash later on that evening. So, man, we've been had a full week, and like I said, still prepping and still trying to get things checked away for Chicago Cigar Week, man. So we're still moving.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, normally we have Chester and Miss Venita and Big Rob with us. They can't be with us tonight, but they're here in spirit. But you know, we here. We're gonna hold it down. So, Rob, I know over the past year or so, there's been you just celebrated your 10-year anniversary with Caldwell Cigars last year. This year, you made the big announcement of the sale of Caldwell. Talk to us about that, the thought behind that, the process behind, you know, transitioning from being, you know, independent brand to part now being sold to a more corporate structure.
It's interesting. I mean, so a little backstory. We this company, they're not in the cigar industry. They're in the pipe industry. So they're the largest company in the pipe side. And then they contacted us originally to license some of our brands to make like pipe tobacco brands under Anastasia and a couple other brands. And then, don't mind my camera, I'm just trying to get another cigar. And then, so we started talking about that, and then they ended up just asking us if we'd be interested in selling. And by then we had a pretty good relationship with them. And then we sat down and then kind of went through all the pros and cons. So there were no cons. So they are a really cool company. They're young, they're innovative, they're hungry. They have like 200 something employees. Everybody loves working there. And then basically they said, listen, we'll make you a deal where I'll stay on with the company and then I get a large share of their company. So I'm still involved, and we'll take away all your problems. So, you know, when you're a company our size, you're inefficient at certain things. There's a lot of things you don't want to do, but you have to do as like a small business owner, you know, this type of thing. So working with them has been very easy because all I'm doing now is marketing, design, product development. So before I was coming to Miami, I was helping on the warehouses. You know, Jason, I was doing sales, I was doing marketing, so they do all this shit. So they have teams for everything, which is very good. And I just checked my email, my corporate email. I haven't checked my email for 3 days. I had 2 emails. So that's really cool because they just leave me alone. And I do my thing. So, and that's what I like. I mean, I got in this industry because I loved it, and I ended up, I feel like, instead of owning a business, becoming owned by a business, which I think is very common. But it's been cool because it's allowed me to, refocus on what I like and what I think I do best as well. So it's been good.
Let me ask you, if you didn't have the relationship with this company that you have, the way you have it, and say another company would just came to you randomly, asked you, "Hey, are you interested in selling?" How do you think that? Do you think it would have been the same type of energy? You had the same feeling?
So we were approached by 2 other companies. One of them several years ago, and one of them just last year. And the other company that approached us, we didn't feel like it was the right fit, and then so we just passed on that opportunity. So yeah, I mean, I didn't the reason that I wanted to sell to this company, outside of that we fit with them so well, is because they're not a cigar company. And then so by not being a cigar company, they bought us, and they're having us operate exactly as we operate. Just, checks go to them and product ships out of their warehouse. And I think had we sold to another cigar company, they already have everybody that does everything that we do. And then you just shake hands, kiss babies effectively. And I think you lose a lot of control of the business. So long answer short, it wasn't about selling. It was more about building a new partnership, I guess.
So yes, I mean, so what I'm understanding, so basically, rather than being absorbed, you kind of just added a partner, almost like you added another partner to the company.
Yep.
That makes total sense. Well, just so y'all know, I'm smoking tonight, and I say this especially for the show. This is the new Long Live the Queen Maduro that's not released. That's why I don't have a ban on it yet. But I saved it. I got it at the show at PCA, and I said I'm going to save it for when he's on the show, so I get to smoke it on the show. And
I'm mad about that, right?
I can't stand you right now, Rob.
I'm just saying.
I can't stand you right now.
Listen, I'm smoking the Dayoung Standard. And then the next one will be Chico.
Wow.
Smoking the League of Nine. I was trying to find the Long Live the Queen over here, but I'm over here in Alabama right now. My mom has surgery, so I'm here at Humidor Scotch, and they don't have it, so we got to make sure we get that over here.
I want to know, because I have to make life decisions, Robert, when I have my Long Live the Queen, the Lancero. I hold on because they are so popular and so hard to get. Is there any tea you want to give about production or market or?
So that cigar, that's been our most successful brand we've ever had. We basically sold like a whole year supply, or what we thought was going to be the year supply. We sold it like in the first 5-6 weeks of launching the brand.
Wow.
And anytime it comes in stock, it's gone. I mean, we can't, it's just one of those things that's on back order all the time. So, we bring in 500 boxes of each, and there's 600 boxes of each on back order. So it's just, it's very hard to keep that in stock for us. Partly the popularity is one thing, but also the factory burned down a couple of years ago, and we were operating out of a much smaller facility, and we didn't have the same production that we had prior. So now the new factory's just opened up, and we should be able to get production up on that. So probably by the end of the year, it'll be around more often.
Okay, everybody, you heard that right.
In the chat, and the thing is,
don't want to cut you short, but I just want to get to Shay Perkins' question real quick. Is the company going to keep your cigars the same?
That's the beauty of selling to a pipe company. They don't know how to make cigars, so they don't have a choice. But yeah, we're going to do some refresh on packaging, trim out a couple, little things, and then, try to build a portfolio back up. Because we lost like 5 brands because of the fire that we stopped producing, so we have to replace those. But yeah, cigars, everything will stay the same.
No,
So
you
with
say
that said, is there anything in reverse in terms of your imprint on the pipe tobacco?
No, outside of we have like 3 brands that we, well, I don't know if I can say that, but may or may not be doing together. Um, which I have nothing to do with the blending because I have no idea about pipes, but basically I've learned how to smoke a pipe and to enjoy a pipe occasionally by working with these guys. So they're blends that are kind of harmonious with a couple of our brands. So they're going to be branded the same. Like you could have a Long Live the Queen pipe tobacco, and then when you smoked it, it wouldn't at all necessarily taste like Queen, but it would be like relevant to the pipe tobacco I smoked. It would be very similar experience to what you get out of Queen as a cigar, you
Hmm.
get out of Queen as pipe tobacco.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, you know what, Rod? I do have a question since we are talking about pipe tobacco. Will you make, or will they make, even if they know what they're doing, make something on the lines of the upsetter, which is rolled in pipe tobacco with a cigar leaf on it, a very aromatic cigar leaf? Will they try to compete with the upsetter?
No. So there's actually like strictly no use of we're not going to do anything with pipe
Got
tobacco under the Caldwell brand.
Okay.
So they have a very large pipe tobacco company called Cornell and Deal,
Right.
and so they did the one with Steve Saka. I forget what it's called. So they're involved in providing tobacco to cigar brands to make
Hmm.
those products, but we're not planning on doing anything with them.
Great information. Thank
Yeah, I was just in Chicago at the Chicago Pipe Show with Steve Sacco. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about pipes myself. So he was there, the showcase over in Rosemont this past week. So it was actually real good.
Nice.
you. Great.
you mentioned earlier, Robert, that you guys are gonna re-inject maybe 2 or 3 brands. Are those gonna be fresh new brands or brands
Yeah.
that have been off the
So
market
the
for a
only
while?
the only one that may come back is Lazar, or I can't even say may, will come back is Lazar. But Midnight Express is gone, Pacific Standard's gone. Savages might come back as a limited, like a once a year or biannual release. I think only in one size, but we're still not sure. But then we're gonna replace, like Queen Maduro is gonna get some of that lost shelf space, if you will. And then we're thinking about making Antoinette, which was just a Culebra size, like a full brand with a female on it as well.
Mm.
And then we're gonna have some extensions off of our core brands.
Nice. I think you
So
should. I think you should put a brand in. I think you should do a brand, something like a Midnight Burn in that rotation too. That'll be a good addition.
There you go.
so Rob, I have to say this because you've been a strong force, no other way to say it, in the African American community, from my perspective, from one promoting and helping to kick off and sponsor Destination Her, as well as doing some other things. And then you come out with Long Live the Queen, which just blew everybody away. And it was like, in my mind, the most sought after cigar with great anticipation. Can you give us a story and the backdrop on the label and just the brand, the name itself, and its popularity, which is phenomenal?
Yeah. So the brand, I mean, I think Jason, you and I talked a couple times
Mm-hmm.
over the years about like the concept of Queen, and then my buddy Nigel as well. So I mean, the name was natural, right? Because we had Long Live the King,
Right.
and then in terms of the branding, I don't know. I mean, I had a lot of people talking to me like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, you should do the other, and I just kind of relied on a couple sources for trying to make it as kind of correct, I guess, as we could in terms of artwork and theme and concept and colors and jewelry and this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I mean, I'd say I was more than me coming up with the idea. I think I was more guided by people in the community, kind of pushing me in a direction of what to do with the Queen brand, and then on the artwork, almost entirely relying on friends in the community that had an opinion. I think that made the brand much more relevant, much more powerful when we released it.
I must
Amazing.
say it was superbly done.
Thank you.
I mean, from a marketing standpoint, not only just from the marketing standpoint, but the cigar is phenomenal. You know, I kind of clean house. I probably have enough Caldwell cigars to smoke for the next year. So man, so I'm loving what I have, and a very nice job. I have to say this. I was in the cigar lounge earlier today. Um, Havana Connections. My daughter took me over there, and the well, the gentleman said, you know, one of my favorite cigars is Blind Man Bluff, but we don't carry them anymore, and you know because they don't have any reps. So how and if when the well, I don't know if you have reps or not, but do they? Who do they directly deal with now?
Where
Con-
where was that? In
uh,
Alabama?
Havana Connections in Chesterfield, Richmond, Virginia.
Hmm. So to answer your question, yes, now there's a rep,
Okay.
but I don't know who it is.
All right.
It's one it's because we had one guy come with us and then they have their own team, but I don't know who's got the territory, but we do have.
Okay.
But I'll let him know to reach out to that
Well,
store.
and definitely, I'm going to reach out to him on tomorrow and let him know. Matter of fact, I believe he's on this broadcast. I almost can guarantee you he's on our YouTube side, so I can't see him on because he's not a Facebook user. So I'm sure he is interested in that information.
Perfect.
So, Robert, I know when you and I initially had the conversation, when you first brought the Queen idea to me, I told you, you know, I'm like, yo, I said, run. I didn't even see the artwork yet, but you kind of like ran the concept by me, and I'm like, you know what, run that, you know, especially being that a lot of women love your cigars, you know, particularly a lot of black women, you know, so I think it almost kind of like it's like paying homage to those who support you. That's the way I perceived it. When you first told me the idea and the concept, I'm like, that's perfect. I'm like, because these women love it, you know. And I'm seeing the reaction from it, and you know, having it at Destination Herb when it, you know, first came out, and you know, when I had the box, and I'm giving them out, and it's the excitement. Everybody's faces were like, they were because a lot of people knew about it, but didn't know about it, you know. And just seeing it and handing those cigars out, man, the reaction was overwhelming off the top. So it was like I knew it was going to be a successful cigar. I just didn't know it was going to become like one of those things. It's almost become like a unicorn, you know. When you see it, you got to grab it, you know, because you know it may be a while before you get another one. So with that said, do you plan on ramping up production in general on your product? Are you going to put out? I know before you got a set number based on you know knowing your retailers, your market. Are you guys planning on increasing production overall?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we again with the constraints on the factory, like the last year and a half, it's been like it's just been real hard. You've been having to pick and choose what you make. So we've been making as much as we can of like the top sellers, I guess. So going into the new space, we're gonna have unlimited capacity effectively. So we will be ramping up production. I can't honestly tell you how much it improved it is now because it's been like 5-6 weeks and I don't really notice a supply change yet. Like our inventory levels at the factory, stuff like that, but I think it takes them a little while to like catch their stride at the factory. I think they're still kind of running around crazy trying to get everything worked out, all the kinks worked out over there.
Now I know everybody knows Caldwell. Everybody knows Caldwell cigars, you know, whatever. But you also have a side baby as well, which is the Lost and Found.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know about the Lost and Found because it's one of those things where it's like you got to find them when you can. They're even bigger unicorns, right? So
yep.
Are you planning to keep that same concept behind the Lost and Found? Do you plan on like ramping up that production as well, and adding more to that line?
Yeah, and especially because like Lost and Found and Caldwell, I had two companies, and then as you know, Jason, but everybody else might not, I had two partners with Caldwell, and then Lost and Found, I had some guys that I shared profit with, but I didn't have any like co-operators. So I had way too much responsibility on my shoulder running both brands because they ended up being really similar in size. So now with the bigger company partnered in, it'll give, I think, a lot of it'll just give a lot of energy into the brand because I'll be able to have the time that I need to get that done. Because I haven't had enough time to get all my stuff done the last years. And then so now I think just being able to focus on that, I'll be able to get a lot more cigars in the market.
So are those one night stand, 15 minutes of fame,
Yeah.
that niche? Okay, yeah, because I don't smoke them. They're in my humidor until I um, see them again. I may take out one, like Jay say, one unicorn and smoke it, and then I'm like, okay, until I know I'm going to get a replacement, I just leave it in the humidor.
Smart.
Same
Yep.
thing with Long Live the Queen.
That's that special occasion stick. You got to keep that in humidor resting for a while, just in case.
Yes.
Well, Robert, you said just a minute ago you excuse your phone. You about to light up another cigar. What are you smoking right now?
I'm smoking two. I'm smoking a Winston Churchill Robusto, and then I'm smoking an Eastern Standard Pyramid. Don't ask me why. I lit the Davidoff, the Winston Churchill, and it was tasting real good. And then I wanted to smoke Eastern Standard, and that was tasting good. But then I was missing the Davidoff, so sometimes I just go back and forth.
Well, what the hell? I think I'm gonna try that one of these days. Well,
Yeah, why
let
not?
me ask you, are you pairing anything with it?
Nah, just drinking water.
Oh, okay.
Just water.
Well, he doesn't drink, by the way. So just so you know, he
Exactly.
doesn't drink at all. Yeah.
Oh, well, hey. Well, my apologies, sir.
No, that's all
No,
good.
no worries.
My daughter said, "Good for you."
So Rob, on this show tonight, before we get off the air tonight, right? So I promised people that I was going to give away two pairs of all access passes to Destination Herb before we go off the show today. So
Nice.
I got to pick two winners before we go off live tonight, and to make it transparent, right? So I got all the names in a bag, and I'm going to shake it up so people don't think like, you know, I'm playing favoritism or anything. But this is the bag, and we're going to pick some names. If I should have known you were in Miami, I would have flew in and we could have did this live together. But it's all good.
Next one.
Hey, can I pick it?
I could put it in, I could pick it and put it in the chat and tell you what it is. We're gonna say you pulled it.
Okay, well, look like we might have a winner. She said me.
Well, I mean, a lot of people know, like, well, I know, like, a lot of people know, like, you and I have a relationship that goes back a few years now, and it's kind of like, you know, we've been doing, you know, events together from the Blacks. You came on board with us when I was doing Black Smoking, and when I did Destination Herb, you supported me with that as well. So I just want to publicly on this show just tell everybody how much I really appreciate everything that you've done to help us continue to push forward, and everything you've done for my brand and the support that you've shown me over the years unconditionally. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate everything that Caldwell Cigars and you personally have done to help, you know, push my brand forward.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure. It's a two-way relationship. So I appreciate you back.
You know, and that's to say, like, you know, I know when you come to the events, everybody loves you, right? Everybody walks away saying, like, he's cool as shit, man. Like, you know, they don't expect, I don't know, like, people have this perception of you, I guess, when they
think I'm a dickhead before they meet me.
And then they meet you and everyone walks away with this, like, this thing of, like, man, like, he's cool as shit. You know, like, I wasn't expecting that. And that's always funny to me. That's why I love when you come out to the events, because people, well, first of all, sometimes they're surprised to even see you, like, oh shit, he's actually here. You know, so it's like, it's always kind of like that shock value. And then you're so approachable, and you just, like, you'll talk to any and everybody, and it's not even about talking about cigars. You just talk about shit. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it goes, I notice sometimes when you and I are out together, you'll get into a conversation with someone and it'll last for like 2 or 3 hours of that same, but you're talking about so many different things, right? So
yeah,
how is it that, you know, when you're meeting so many different people, different spaces, like, how does that ever, do you ever get to the point where you're like, I don't want to do this, like, I just want to be in my little corner to myself? How do you vibe with that?
So actually, that's why I like not talking about cigars. So I'm kind of notorious for not talking about cigars, because if you got to talk cigars day in, day out with everybody all the time, yeah, I mean that lasts like a real short time. So that's when I burn out real quick. So And I mean, to me, it's like, I like making cigars. I like smoking cigars, but there's a lot cooler shit in life to talk about, learn about, So as long as I'm out and I'm with a group of people that's willing to talk about whatever, then I'm good. So, I mean, when I'm in those social situations, I'm constantly talking about anything other than cigars. So that's pretty easy. But when you get stuck, like, at an event and it's like somebody comes up to you and, you talk to them for 30 minutes, they ask you 10 questions. The next guy comes up, he asks you the same fucking 10 questions. Then the next guy, then you start getting tense in the shoulders and you start freaking out. And that's when it's time to leave. So.
Yeah, I can understand
And
that.
I've had the pleasure of witnessing your face in those situations.
Yeah, I'm looking for the escape button.
Yeah, like get me out of here. Like somebody tap me on the shoulder, please.
Yeah. That happens a lot. Like, unfortunately, with in-store events, you'll get one dude that's just like real weird and just wants to talk to you, and they like kind of kidnap you and you get stuck in the corner. It's brutal.
Well, that's a funny. That's what I think is so funny, because it's like seeing you at a cigar event is so different from seeing most cigar owners and reps. Because you're like so genuine, and you just like you don't even act like you're there to sell cigar. Like you're just hanging out like everybody else. Just we're just having a good time. You're not sitting there saying, "Hey, we can buy 2 for 1" or whatever. You're just like enjoying the space and the environment. That's the cool shit that I think people appreciate when they do run into you out at one of these events and stuff. So it's funny because I didn't know, like, when our first conversation, I'm gonna give you all a little history. So many years ago, the reason why when we first met, I sent Robert an email, and his response to me was, "That's too much. That's not in my budget." And my response to that was, "Oh, what is your budget?" And then we decided to meet, and then the rest is history. And it was like literally like that was his response to my email, like that's too much, is out of my budget, But the fact that he was even willing to have to continue the conversation, it was kind of like, okay, this might be something. And it's been a good relationship moving, from that point to this point. So what else? What's new on? What else is on your horizon from cigars and beyond?
That's a very good question, and I could have a different answer to you like 3 times a day. I sold the company, and it was very stressful, in particular the last few years, owning and operating the business or businesses. I don't know why. I mean, I think part of it was like pandemic, and then we had like this great boom. And then we as a company, when we started, we had 7 employees, and then when we sold the company, we had 4. And the 3 that we lost, I ended up doing their jobs too. So I was busy all the time, stressed out all the time, anxious all the time. I'd wake up in the middle of the night to pee, and I'd start thinking about, shit that was going wrong. And wait, Jason, bring me back to your question, because I went off on a tangent.
Now, what water are you drinking? No, I'm just messing with you, Rob.
Oh,
I know you have.
Oh, no. I got it. Because I went off on a tangent. I lost myself, but I found myself. So when I sold, but this is exactly a prime example of where my head's at these days. So when I sold, I had this feeling like I'm going to sell, and then the next day I'm going to wake up and everything's going to be different. But it didn't, because the next day I had another company here in Miami that was selling cigars to hotels and restaurants, and then I had to sell it or get rid of it. So I ended up giving it to my office guy as his bonus. So I had to train him the next day. And the next day I'm on a plane to South Carolina to, integration meetings with a new company. And then after that, I did like 5-6 days, came back to Miami, bounced down to Bogota. And I was down there like maybe on my 3rd, 4th day. And I woke up, and then it was just like this calm, like everything was gone. And I felt exactly how I thought I wanted to feel. And then like 3 days later, I'm fucking bored. And then I started getting like the entrepreneurial juices going, like, oh, there's all this shit I always wanted to do. And then like 2 days later, just every day it was like a different feeling. So I don't know. It's the only way I can correlate it is people talk about, like, when their kids grow up and go off to college and the house feels empty. And then you have guys that, you know, they retire at 70 years old and then they're driving home like lonely with a half-eaten cake in the back seat. Like I felt a combination of both those ways for like a couple weeks. And then the trade show comes, and then I go to the trade show, and I attended the trade show not as an owner. And then so it was like this outside perspective on the trade show, which was very interesting. I left that. I went back to Spain. I'm in a great spot in Spain. I'm loving life. And then I start getting fucking anxious again for no reason. So I've been kind of all over the place, almost in a PTSD type of way. It's just like all these emotions coming out. But it was interesting. I had dinner with Jonathan Drew the night after the trade show in Miami. And he asked the same question. He's like, how are you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you think? You know, just shooting the shit, two friends. And I told him how I was feeling. And he's like, brother, you're going to feel different the next day. And the next day, you're going to feel different than that. And the next day, it's like this weird feeling, I guess, where every day there's different emotions ebbing and flowing. And it's almost paralyzing at times. Like, you know, I was talking to my wife just before this call. I got real fucking anxious and stressed out the last 2-3 days. And I'm like, I don't know why. And so so to answer your question, that's how I feel. And so I don't know. Because I mean, it's easy for me to do my new job, but what do I do with all the time in my head, not having all the stress I had before? I got to fill that with something, you know, or not having the responsibilities I have. Now I have time for other shit. And so, but one day, you know, like I started studying Italian, and I'm like, I'm going to study furniture design because I think furniture's fucking cool. And then, you know, I wanted to make like leather, like bags as part of the Caldwell company. We never did it. We were too successful in cigars, so we skipped the other stuff we want to do. So then I started looking at that a little bit. But, you know, every 3 hours, it's a different feeling, and it's very weird. The dust will settle and eventually I'll normalize, but I'm just kind of all over the place. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, it's just a process, I guess, that you go through.
You have that's very common in people that are creatives. And people that are creatives have pent up energy and overthinking energy. And then on the other side of that, it's the feeling stuck energy. So you probably, on average, are literally rolling ideas all throughout the day. So journaling them in order to see the fruition of them would probably be one way to get it out. You know, sometimes you just need to just get it out. On the other hand, I anticipate, I'm speaking it out loud, I anticipate that that's probably going to also allow you to see it from the outside perspective and then come up with some hella products. That's usually the end result. Once you begin to channel that energy and, you know, allow it to manifest the new ideas that you have.
Now, Robert,
That's just my thought.
Well, I appreciate that. That sounds very useful.
Now, I'm the one that got a doctorate in psychology. I'm the psychologist on the show, but that's the analyst. But she just stole my thunder. But I mean, great insight to definitely what you're feeling. I mean, I mean, man, somebody put it best right here. You know, when I talked with Kim S. Hamilton, when I talked to him, you know, I was blown away as to how down to earth he was. And I get it, man. I mean, if you're doing this industry, you know, for a certain period of time, and everything is cigar. I mean, you want to get a reprieve from that, a break from that, and just be you. And do the things, you know. I mean, you know, I like talking about bikes. I don't want to go to it just talk cigars, you know, when I have something else, you know, in life I can talk about. So I get it, man. And I have to say, you know, there's a lot of people that love what you do. A lot of people that I have spoken with that when you bring up the name Robert Caldwell, oh man, the first thing that come out their mouth, oh man, that's a cool ass dude. That's basically what they say. And so just one question that I got. You supported Destination Herb for the years that I can remember, and it has grown in its own right and own way to something that I feel will be bigger. Um, Give us your perspective on what you've seen and the change that you've seen over the years with Destination Herb and your support of it, and maybe some things that in terms of we things that can be done better from me and JFerg's perspective, ideas you may have that may bring it to a certain level.
So, what to me was always the most attractive thing about it was it's a community-based event. It's not retail driven. And that's cool as shit because it's just a bunch of friends getting together and enjoying cigars.
Right.
And so, I mean, I think that to me was the coolest thing. Like when I found out about, what Jason's doing, it's like, this is what it's all about. There's not a pressure thing. There's not a retail. It was just pure. And I thought that was great. And it's been really cool to see it grow and change over the years.
Right.
I think it's moving definitely in the right direction. The only thing that I comment on is, we just got to get the word out there more. I think it should be much bigger than it is, to get more people involved. Because everybody that I talk to that goes to Destination Herb loves it.
So I thank you for saying that because I've told JFerg a dozen times. JFerg said, I want to keep it in the box. It's not going to stay in the box because the time and the fun that you have and the camaraderie and what's going on, with it and how it's progressing and moving along. Once the word get out, it's the next big thing. And you got to prepare for that, to move it along progressively because the intimacy of it right now is great. And I love it, but I just feel that it eventually not going to get out of hand in a big way, but it's going to get out of hand to a point to where people going to want more. So you got to prepare for more progressively, and just figure out how to contain it to the confines of what you want to see. So don't always, man. You get ready for the growth, man. I'm sorry, bro. It's gonna happen.
Look, I know, it's
Yeah.
gonna happen, but
Yeah.
my biggest thing has always been, and I think I told you this from day one. I
Yeah.
don't need everybody. I just need the right people.
Oh yeah. But look, man. Look, my philosophy in life, man, is not who you count, is who you can count on, and the ones that you can count on will definitely be there to support what's going on. It's like we about to take Chicago Cigar Week and make it the next big thing. you know, and because we are about matter of fact, I got to take this quick intermission because we're at our halfway point, over our halfway point. But I got to take this time out to give a shout out to Stoney, Chicago Cigar Week. Stoney, we didn't get the video into the MP3 MP4, and we're gonna get that straightened out by the next show. But this show is sponsored by Chicago Cigar Week with my man Stoney Gillespie. And if I jacked up your last name, charge it to the bourbon. And
It's close, brother. It's good.
yeah, man, appreciate it, bro. And then also, gotta take a moment, gotta take this moment, Rob, and just have a quick 15-second moment of silence for our departed brother, Rudy, of Padron Cigars. So, we just got to raise a glass. I don't have a cigar, but raise a cigar to Rudy and his family and the Padron family. And so we're just going to take this moment of 15 seconds of silence. All right, I had to say that because whenever you're in this industry, man, and we lose an icon such as that, we got to pay homage and give honor to those whom honor is given and whom honor is due. To let people know that we're in solidarity with that loss, and much prayers to the family. So definitely, man. Speaking of that, Robert, your thoughts on that, man? I mean, because you're in this industry, man, and
Man, I didn't even know.
really, yeah, man,
No.
yeah, Rudy,
What happened?
I don't know, I don't know.
Rudy was young. Rudy's got to be like, was 55, 57,
It,
something like
it
that?
was 62.
62. Damn.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, and during my time at Petworth Cigars, he was responsible. He was the one that said, we're gonna get y'all opened up, get your account, and he made it happen, man. Solid dude, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just had to, pay homage to him, for that moment. And IG Williams says 62. Thanks for confirming that. Thank all those who were in prayer with us for that moment of silence. Appreciate all of y'all. And so, yeah, man, just had to do that. And, yeah, it kind of hit, on Facebook. You kind of hate finding out things on Facebook. Hopefully, information wasn't leaked out too soon before the family could make sure they do what they needed to do. So yeah, so yeah, that's it, man. But Rob, we definitely, man, we in your corner, man. Whatever the role is that you have now in the company, we certainly going to continue to support, and hopefully that you will continue to support Destination Herb and be your normal self, man. But I'm so glad to hear that you got a reprieve, a relax, and give people the actual role that you'll be doing, within the company. Will you still be making, rounds here and there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't make that many rounds, but
Yeah,
so I'll keep doing the few that I do, and then
yeah,
just marketing, design, product development. So blending cigars, packaging, marketing, branding, which are all the things that I like to do and do well. And
yeah.
then so I won't have to do all the other shit that I was horrible at and hated doing.
I'm asking my daughter, do she got a question? She got a good business head and business mind on it. So based on what you heard, what question would you have for Robert?
Well, I guess I'll just like go back to kind of what you were talking about because you said you're. It sounds like you're kind of like a rock and a hard place as far as like where you feel like if you stop, you'll miss it, but if you don't stop, you'll be burned out. So like, how do you see yourself kind of balancing that, or is there like a threshold for you to where you feel like I've had enough, I'm on to the next venture, or I don't know when to stop? Like, do you have a threshold?
Well, I don't feel like any need to stop. Like I love the cigar thing. So my thing is more like because what I'm employed now to do, I do very well, very quickly, and very efficiently. So my problem is like, I've had several conversations with these guys. It's like, hey, I've done all my shit that I have to do. What else? And I'm not used to not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of a challenge to me of like the free time that I have now because I finish what I have to do so quickly, and I don't know what to do with that.
Mm.
Now I know you're involved in some other business ventures outside of the cigar world. Do you get more involved in any of that stuff, or do you kind of keep that where it's at?
So I've started. So one of them is like an ecological packaging company that's based in Colombia, and I am getting more involved in that. So that might be something, but I'm not sure. So, but I have been starting to take more of an active role. More
So
regularly
I
and
have a
giving
question
advice and stuff. So
in relation to that. So from without going too deep. So it's an all out sale. I know you spoke at the very beginning that there's an ownership partnership. Is it more on the joint venture side in relation to that? So people kind of understand before they clutch their pearls and go, oh no, the cigars are going to go away. I think some that may have come on late missed that caveat in your explanation.
Sorry, I my phone cut out. You said, "Oh no, the cigars," and then I lost you after that.
It is your deal now that you have stepped back from 100% ownership, more of a joint venture, given it's kind of like when CEOs step down, but they take a certain percentage of ownership or sit on the board type of thing, because I think those that tuned in late may be thinking that the cigars are going away, rather than it's you physically stepping back and now you have more time to blend, create, and all the other things that will come along with the extra time.
Yeah, so the way that the deal was part of it was equity, so I decent sized little piece or whatever of their company, and then I also am on the board. So I have direct involvement in that, and then I have a 3-year consulting agreement to work for them for 3 years to continue, the product design, development, branding, all that stuff. So for the next 3 years at least, everything will stay exactly the way it was prior. And then the way that the company's being run, it's basically a company within a company. So myself and my prior business partner Juan, he stayed on board as well. So the two of us are running it. The difference is instead of having 2 reps, we have 6 reps. We have an accounting team. We have a marketing team. So there's teams of people there. So like I work directly with the guy who owns the company. I work directly with my business partner Juan, which is all the factory stuff. I work directly with like the director of marketing. So I'll have ideas, and then instead of me working with a creative guy to work on the idea, I'll give the marketing, and then he'll take it and kind of run with it. So they effectively removed from me the things that I didn't enjoy and wasn't that good at, to in theory allow me to focus more time and energy on the stuff that I do best. But consumer facing, there might be a couple changes with certain products, or as I mentioned earlier on, but we might rebrand a couple things. And then for retailers, we're shipping from a different location, and then checks are going to a different location. But everything outside of that's going to stay the same.
Well, I think that
there was a question for you Chris, can you pin the dates for Destination Herb?
Yeah, there was a question about the dates. JFerg, can you give the dates for Destination Herb?
Yeah, dates are January 16th through the 19th, 2025.
Always on the weekend of MLK weekend.
Yes.
So I think you might have answered this question. Is he looking to start another brand of cigars? I think there would be a conflict, to even think about that right now. What is your thought on that, Robert?
No. Okay. So I mean, I guess future holds, but I'm very gladly a post cigar company owner and very gladly an employee of the new company. And so I don't have any, what I'd like to do is I'd like to just keep working there, I guess. It's easy. I like what I do. It's all the good of what I had before with none of the bad. Unless that changes, I think I'm kind of a happy camper. It's very cool because I mean, there's just no headaches anymore,
from a business perspective, sometimes when you put things and are onto the people that are normally used to handling things on a larger scale, and you come in the backdrop as like a CEO, general manager of it, take the legwork out of what you used to do and put it on them, but give and provide your expertise on what you do. That takes a lot off your plate. And I understand that. And while I understand that, now, what's going on and how you did it and what's going on with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because in its own right, you still got some power,
Yeah.
and you still, a lot of leverage and leeway, because one, you got people that are dealing with, pipes versus cigars, so the expertise is still in your corner. If I had to ask you this question, and she definitely came back with this. Can you give us? Oh, well, you know what? That's a good question right there, because let me come back to that after I ask this question. What do you think, as a blender, the best? I don't want to put you in the box now, Robert, but the best cigar that you blended. What do you think the best cigar is that you blended?
Um, that I've blended, because some of my cigars I didn't blend, but the
Right,
best one
right.
that I blended, I think for
Mhm.
me, is Eastern Standard.
Mm,
But that's my palate. I like
mhm.
lighter cigars.
Now, okay. Now I've smoked it, and lighter. And for me, the pepper, that I had a little mild, pepper, especially as you get through that first third. And so, but yes, it's been a while since I smoked it. But when it first came out, I was faithfully smoking it, and I used to get it faithfully from Cigars 210, Doc over on in Acton Maryland, Fort Washington, Maryland. Not sure if you're familiar with the shop, but he was a big advocate
Yep.
of buying buying Caldwell cigars. Yep.
Well, my
So
fa-
this question again, can you give us some of the examples of some of the headaches that you ran into?
Um, well, so when I started the company, I was blending the cigars. I came up with the marketing ideas, and then I was doing some of the sales and stuff. But we had a sales manager. We
Mm-hmm.
had two people in the office. We had a like a marketing social media girl, and then I had another business. There were three of us business partners, and then so I had another one that was helping as well. And then
Right.
so that partner stopped working for the company. The marketing graphic design girl left, sales manager left, and then one of the office guys left. So instead of me just focusing on what I did when we started the company,
Mm-hmm.
I effectively managed our sales team, did a ton of the sales, helped out in the office whenever I was in Miami. I would fly back into Miami just to help in the office. Um, my responsibilities with like the marketing and design became much more time consuming.
Yeah.
And then social media, which I absolutely hate, I ended up doing like almost full time.
Oh,
So wearing all those hats, I guess, which might not sound like that much, but I mean, it was really a lot because it was on top of everything else I was doing. You had that many more, you had four times more problems.
right.
So, I'm doing customer service, I'm dealing with brick and mortar retailers, I'm dealing with the factories, importers, the guy in the office is pissed or he's overwhelmed, So it's just kind of like a nonstop headache. I mean, it was just fire after fire after fire, which is, I think, very common with a small business, anyways. But I didn't have, in the end, very, very much help, or I didn't have the right people to delegate certain responsibilities to. So I ended up just doing a lot more um,
Right.
than I meant to do. So my life was completely out of balance. And it was like that for years, probably
But
5 years.
I think in my mind, and I could be absolutely wrong, but I think, when it comes to the success that you had, and I don't think that you might have had no idea how large this would blow up. So running things from a smaller scale versus a bigger scale company, and then all of a sudden, you start blowing up here and there, and then, I mean, things can get out of, because let's say you run a 5-man office, 6-man office, and then all of a sudden, man, accounts receivable, accounts payable, accounts this, that, and the other start to, get out of hand, and, marketing, and, it's a constant rotation of what's going on in your life. And then all of a sudden things can be overwhelming, and then you need to hire more people and this, that, and the other. And so I kind of see that happening, on your side. And again, like I said, I may be wrong, but I think because, the blend and what you've done with it, the success you've had, man, things just probably grew outside of what you really thought really could have happened. And I give my hats off to you, man. I personally think, you did the right thing, made a smart move, and can still reap the benefits of Caldwell Cigars because you are still definitely the face, the man, and a force to be reckoned with. So I look forward to great things coming.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
So we have a question I always ask every cigar guy that we have on here. What advice would you give to somebody thinking about starting a cigar line?
Don't do it. That's what I tell every.
That is the best freaking advice that I've heard coming from anybody thus far.
I wish somebody would have told me.
Don't freaking do it.
Absolutely.
Don't
do it.
I'm gonna tell you now. Look, if you haven't, and if you're not prepared to go to some of the fields and do this and do that, and I think I had Erica Harris on here a minute ago. I'm not sure if she's still on, and she's doing her thing. My hat's off to her. But man, we've had that conversation, and I mean, look, if you're not ready to do that dance, don't get on the dance floor.
And you just gave like
Yep.
a half a dozen bullet points of what's involved when you don't have a support system in place as growth matriculates, right? So then it becomes feast or famine. Does something get sacrificed along the way, or do you try to assimilate and bring on in order to keep the ship uprighted? That's really the question one should ask themselves based on the things that you've said.
You were breaking up for a second, but now I figured out what you were saying. I don't know what's wrong with my signal.
I think with all things considered, with everything that you mentioned having on your plate, I mean, I guess from the outside looking in, no one would ever think that because you ran with all that on your plate, you ran such a well-oiled machine from a consumer perspective, in terms of the quality of the product and the packaging, the marketing and everything, the social media. It looks so effortless on the outside looking in, so I applaud you and said, with all on your plate, you still made it look easy.
Yeah. Well, and that's so I think that's because I'm very good at the consumer facing part of my business. I do very well, like the social media, the marketing, packaging, all that shit. I'm very, very good at that, and that comes easy, and it's very fluid. And then, so I think that gives the the appearance that it is that easy, and it is that easy. But the hard part's the part that nobody sees. And not on a development, blending, any of that shit. It's the, we're out of fucking staples. We don't have enough there. It's like those things. And I think that's the challenge of having a small business.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily easy in any field at all. And I think probably people face the same problems that I faced all the time. I think that the only differentiating factor when it comes to cigars is, you're working with a product that you can't just order up 10,000 of them and get them 3 weeks later. All of them have different aging. You have to keep a balance of all the varietals of tobacco you need for all your cigars. You got, packaging's coming from all these different countries or different factories. So there's a lot of moving parts. You're not ordering a finished product. You're ordering all the components. You're moderating everything. You're putting something together and trying to time it perfectly. And that part of the industry is what makes it particularly challenging. And then, so when you compound that with being an organization that was way bigger than it was, I mean, we're a very good size, respectable size cigar company, but with just not enough people working there. And some of those decisions, I mean, the way that I am, it's like part of it's like, okay, my business partners loved it because the fewer employees you have, the less cost you have, the more money you make. So you become a very profitable company by operating that way. But that wasn't my reason for doing it because, I mean, I've never spent a fraction of what I earn. I'm a very like conservative guy with money. So to me, it wasn't about making extra money. I didn't care. But to me, it was about getting everything done right. And so I didn't trust hiring a sales manager. I didn't trust hiring a marketing director. I didn't trust a lot of these hiring people to fill the roles that we needed filled because I knew I could do it. And then even being in Miami, Jason, every time I saw you in Miami, I'm wearing gym clothes at the warehouse, packing up boxes with Trevor because I knew that Trevor did his job perfectly, but I couldn't put somebody next to him that wasn't complimenting him, and I could do it very well. So then I gave myself that role. And, you know, it's just putting too much responsibility on my shoulders out of fear that if I hired the wrong person for a job, it would knock us off, and then the consumer would see that we were all fucked up because we put somebody in that actually fucked up the company. So we were able to run it incredibly efficiently, incredibly well. But the toll that took on me, not necessarily physically, but more like just emotionally and psychologically, it was like, I'm not worried about cigars getting imported. I'm worrying about all this other bullshit that was going on through the supply chain all the time because I didn't have somebody that I could hire to give that responsibility to, that I wouldn't have to worry about it. Because we did have multiple people come in and out of those roles. And then it was just decided, or I just basically said, I'm going to grab the bulls by the horns and I'm going to take control of this because I know that I can get the outcome that I need. And so back to the sale portion, the reason that this was such a good opportunity was because I can continue doing the part of the business that I really love, and all that shit that killed me now is somebody else's problem. And I don't have to even fucking think about it.
Right.
And that's beautiful because that then will allow me to do what I do best and what I enjoy doing, which will keep me in the game. Because, I mean, if I had to keep doing what I was doing for another 5 years, I don't know if I could have made it personally. I mean, my life might have spun out of control.
Yeah.
You know, it could have fucked up my marriage, family, but maybe my business would have stayed doing well, you know? And the last few years with COVID in particular, it's like sales got really good. You know, we made a lot of money. Everybody made a lot of money through COVID in the cigar industry. But I ended up being more unhappy at the end of that than I was at the beginning. But, and not, it wasn't because, you know, I wasn't being greedy. It was nothing like that. It was just, I had the time, but I didn't have the space in my head. So I'd go with my wife on vacation, and you wake up at 3 a.m. and you think about what's going on at the office, or I hope the shipment's coming in, and all this shit all the time. And it was compounded because it wasn't just like the things that mattered. It was all the shit that didn't matter that I kind of took responsibility for at the company. And I just ended up with zero time for myself.
But you know what, Rob, and we're gonna you know, end soon in a minute, but I want to just give you this and what I'm hearing. Really, you know, you turned a lot of headaches over to people that can handle it. But I think you're in the best position now to do what you do, to add the best quality control measures on your name, because you still, you know, at the end of the day, you know, without all the other headaches that you have, now you can, you know, put, you know, some of, you know, your quality time into quality controlling your product and, you know, keeping your name what it is, Caldwell Cigars, and producing the best cigars that you can produce, you know, based on the time that you now have, you know, to do certain things without all the other headaches, and still keep the sanctity of Caldwell Cigars intact, that provide the best cigars to the consumers that are out there. So I applaud you for that, man. Great business decision, great business move, and I look and continue to look forward to great things from Caldwell Cigars based on what you know, time you have now. So my hat's off to you, man.
Thank you.
Yes,
There
sir.
is a question, if you can answer, especially because you will be toggling back and forth between the U.S. and Europe. What do you think AI, which is artificial intelligence, what will the impact of that be in the cigar industry?
So I think the immediate one is going to be like branding and marketing. because we're working on some stuff right now that's really cool. Like you can have a song written about your brand, shit like that. I mean, you can just prompt stuff into these things and then get out really cool stuff. So we have stuff like that we're working on currently for branding. And then I think the other side of it, when it comes to like the crop science, things like that, or you could probably have much better weather forecasting, which then if you're going to get a tremendous amount of rain, which could cause mold in the crops, maybe they'll choose to harvest early. So I think you'll have an impact on the farming side that'll be maybe not noticed by anybody outside of the, guys in the factory that are understanding what's going on. But I think there will probably be a big shift in farming because of it. And then for sure, the marketing stuff's amazing. I mean, there's really cool stuff that's going on.
So essentially forecasting, marketing, and you didn't even talk about from a small business perspective, getting your bands out and the artwork and the creativity that goes behind what, from an image standpoint, you want to see on the cigar based upon the end product and marrying the two together.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. But just to touch back on what you touched on earlier about your operations, I totally understand your perspective, because I think that's one of the biggest issues I have. Being that I pretty much do Destination Herb by myself, and I have the same issues in terms of trusting people to come on and do certain things, because I know I can do it all really well. I've been doing events since 1997, so it's like anyone coming in, they have to show me that they can do it as well as I can. Like you mentioned, we're having someone come in the warehouse with Trevor. You can't have someone come in the warehouse with Trevor who does his job excellent, and he has to pretty much carry them throughout the day. And that takes away from his productivity. So I totally understand and can relate to that perspective. That's pretty interesting. But,
yeah, I think for businesses to grow, you probably need an owner that's willing to give up that control. But as you know as well as I do, Jason, in Miami, try to find fucking people that do a good job. It's impossible down here. And I think that's a really, really hard thing. Because it's such a limited city for finding good employees.
Yeah, Miami's one of those cities. It's almost like LA. Everyone thinks they're a superstar, they're a rock star already. So anything beyond continuing to push them up to that rock star status, they feel like they're too good for, they're better than, or whatever. And that's definitely one of the vibes you get in Miami. Is everyone thinks they're a rock star because there's so many celebrities running around town, and they start thinking that they're on the same level of everybody else that's around town, and it's such a such a fake vibe sometimes. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
That's real talk. Well, look here. Well, you know what, Rob, we're not gonna keep you too long, man. I'm glad to see you in Miami and not Spain, because I know if you were in Spain, we'd be on some different time zone stuff.
Yeah,
right?
that was 2 weeks ago. Oops.
Yeah, definitely. But certainly, just wanna we're gonna go around the room, give everybody a chance to close out, and I'm gonna go leave JFerg for last. And Stoney, you know what, man? We're gonna have to open you up, man.
Hey, sometimes it's good just to sit back as a sponge and absorb, man. So he's just been definitely dropping gems, and I just list certain things because I've met him many times before, and of course you never knew all the things that he had on his plate because he doesn't wear them on his face. Like he's one of the few people I can look at eye to eye because he's tall brothers like myself. So just getting a chance to hear some behind the scenes things he's going through and dealing with, I can relate on a much lesser scale. But at the end of the day, man, congratulations on everything you've done. I mean, you mean a lot to the cigar industry and the cigar culture. Just like you said, just to echo what you said earlier on, as far as just how approachable you are and the kind of person you are, man, just great brother, man. So I appreciate everything you're doing for the cigar culture. Like, you got great cigars, man. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But you know what, man? I'm gonna tell you this, Stoney. I actually met you at Destination Hurt, and when I talked to you while I was there, solid brother. And when I approached you when I lost one co-host, and I said, you know what, who can I get to be a co-host? I said, you know what, let me check with Stoney. One of the reasons why I'm not gonna say you don't have this vast knowledge of cigars. I know you do, but I think for what you do right now for Chicago Cigar Week, it was a good thing to tap into you to get more of the vibe of industry. And so I mess with you about, hey, Stoney, you quiet. You're absorbing. And I know this, you like a sponge. So I know, soon enough you're gonna come out that shell, do your thing. And
Yeah, I'm not a real big talker. Well, at times, depending on what it is. But at the end of the day, knowing that we're in the same industry and listening to different people's stories and their experiences, like I
yeah,
said, Jay, of course, I can relate to a lot of things he's going through, even with Destination Herb up here in
yeah,
Chicago Cigar Week. There's always a certain amount of challenges that come along with that, especially when it comes down to people in positions that delegate responsibility, as Rob was saying. It takes a lot. So it makes a difference as far as how you balance your life. It can affect you in different ways if you carry all that on your shoulders. So there's a situation where you definitely have to learn how to delegate some of those responsibilities and take some of the weight off of you. So I can definitely relate.
well, man, as we get ready to close, man, you might as well go ahead and give your final remarks, man.
Well, I just say I appreciate it. Just love getting an opportunity to get a chance to talk and hear all the things you got going on. As far as Chicago Cigar Week coming, we got things on the plate coming up July 17th through the 21st. We're looking forward to just providing a tremendous and great experience for our guests. Like I said, not only am I a cigar organizer and a distributor, but also a consumer. So I get a chance to see a lot of different things going on around the country. So again, what we're trying to do here is provide a great experience. So we're definitely looking forward to people come out. We're going to have something really special for you. If got any questions, you can feel free to email me, call me. I'm easy to get in contact with. You can also go on our website, ChicagoCigarWeek.com, to get more information.
There you go. All right, outstanding. Analyst, stop.
Um, my parting words would be, in this industry, you're either a brick or a sponge.
Mm,
And and that's really the long and short of what your experience will be as you navigate whatever your lane is.
mm-hmm.
You're either a brick or you're a sponge, the same way you're either the pigeon or you're the statue. And apply that as it needs to be applied. But Robert, me personally, it was great being at Destination Herb with you. Looking forward to many more. Much continued success to you, whether you're over in Europe or whether you're back on the stateside.
Thank you.
And I'm enjoying my Chico.
Uh,
And I'm pairing it with a Leffe.
Nice.
all right, okay. Man, JFerg, what's good, brother?
Well, first of all, Robert, my friend, thank you so much for coming on. I know we had a little hiccup a couple weeks ago, but it's all good. It was actually we made it do what it do. Appreciate you making the time to come on and hang out with us tonight. And I just want to pick some winners, man. I want to give away
Oh yeah, got to do that.
2 pairs of all access passes to Destination Herb. So
Do we need a drum roll? Drum roll.
Pick that thing up, man.
Drum
Yeah.
roll, drum roll,
Hey, look,
drum roll.
hey, JFerg, take the bag and shake it up so they can see it, man. I don't know.
yeah, I don't want anybody thinking.
There you go. There you go. Some
All right.
popcorn.
So we're gonna pull the first name here, and the first name is Denise Houston.
Denise who?
Denise Horton, whatever the hell. I got an email address. I'll email her.
You got an email address?
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Congratulations.
And the second winner is all right. Let me shake this up again. Let's shake it up one more time. All right.
All right. First name is Denise
Horton.
Horton. Horton.
Yep.
All right. And what's the second name?
The second name is Laprisa
Oh,
Dane.
oh,
L E
gee. Oh,
L E
Jesus. Hold on. Laprisa. How do you
Dane.
spell that?
Leprrisen.
Who?
The last name is Dean. Dean.
Oh,
Put it in
okay.
the chat.
She
All
need a
right.
nickname.
Congratulations.
I got the emails. If they're not on the show, we'll definitely be emailing them. Oh shit! I just dropped it back in the bag with all these damn names. Holy
There
shit!
you go. All right.
Oh man, I just fucked up.
These are our winners. Destination Herb. Is this all access pass?
Yes, they win 2 all access passes, and I just dropped the name. I gotta take a screenshot of this so I don't remember, I don't forget.
Well, there it is right there. So we got Denise Horton, a winner. Now, let's get this clear. Do Denise get one ticket or two tickets?
She gets 2 tickets.
And the Prince Dean gets one ticket or two tickets.
2 tickets.
So each winner
Each
gets
winner.
two tickets.
2
to
Good
tickets.
stuff.
Yes.
All access pass.
All
Let me
access
tell you what
pass.
all access pass means. All access pass means we doing the same thing we did last year, JFerg.
Yes, sir.
You got
A time will be had.
you got
Just saying it up front.
you
All right,
got a
I
free
got it.
ride to everything Destination Herb. You got open bar, you got food, you got everything. You got
You got
cigars,
incredible
swag,
swag.
you got the whole 9 yards. All right. So Denise Horton. Anybody know these folks? Share the broadcast. Denise Horton, winner. The priest. Not right. Dean, winner. Miss Dean. Mr. Dean, Miss Dean, winner. I'm not gonna get into jacking up nobody's name. So you are my daughter know me well. This is 118 proof right now. So here are our winners, and we thank you, and we are absolutely, definitely, uh, wonderfully glad to give these cigars out. Got to give a shout out to my man, Howard Cigars, my man. Appreciate you for coming on.
Indeed.
All right. Um, so, JFerg, anything else, man?
That's
We
it,
got
man.
this?
That's
That's
it.
it.
It's a
Well,
wrap.
now I do got to ask this because I'm gonna give Robert. Got to give you your last parting words, and then I'm gonna come on and get my last parting words, and then we're gonna end. The name Zelensky. You didn't put Robert Caldwell or anything. So what is Zelensky?
Ukrainian president. We both got paid, right?
My, oh, my man.
He's getting all that taxpayer money. I figured it was fitting.
Got it. Hey, I hear you.
I
There
missed
you
the
have it.
Y. I think he's got 2 Y's on the end.
Yeah. I
Man,
just
you
had
know,
to ask because I said, wait a minute now. The name
I'll
look
tell
familiar.
you something crazy.
Yeah.
You want to see where all the money we send Ukraine goes, you need to come to the south of Spain.
Wow.
My house is in Marbella, which is like a real high-end area. And every banging brand new $200,000 plus cars got Ukrainian plates on it. There's not that many rich people there. You see, like I'll go to the grocery store, I'll see like 4 or 5 Bugattis, like 15 brand new Rolls Royce trucks. Every single one has Ukrainian plates. And everyone's talking about it over there because they're not there. Is all the money's bleeding out everywhere, and it's all going through the south of Spain. It's crazy. They're all
Wow.
moving over there. So that's what's happening to our tax money right now. So
Dang.
Zelensky's getting paid, and I just got paid, so I figured I'd take his name for the night.
Right. You know what? I ain't mad at. Well, well, there we have it. We got the understanding of what it is and what it ain't. So, you know what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look here. So, Rob, man, look, appreciate you being on the show. Let me get this together. Got to give a shout out to my sister, Jeanette DM Wembley, right there in Miami, the best cook in the world. All right. Allison Harris says, congratulations. My man RG Williams says, congratulations. Jeanette says, hey, everybody. But look here. Sure enough. Hey, RG Williams, man, thank you. Appreciate you. Looking forward. I got to give a shout out to my man House, which is Lenny Wood. Lenny Wood was on the show. I'm not sure if he's still on, but if he is on, look, hey, JFerg, when we did the show last week, we did impromptu when Robert couldn't join us. Different time zone, different place, little mix up there. We understood, but we had an impromptu show. My man Lenny Wood joined us on the broadcast. Good friend of Robert, one of our original co-hosts. He's gonna come on and join us every Tuesday, second Tuesday, and every fourth Tuesday of the month until Rob decides to come back, and if Rob don't come back, then we making him a permanent co-host. But I already talked to him, so my man House blended with us real well. His name is Lenny Wood, but we call him House. He vibed with us real well. Very intelligent brother. So we're gonna look forward to getting with Chester and connecting with him, adding his picture to the show, and we look and see what he has to offer. And great insight, good businessman. And he's building his own cigar lounge at home, not in the house, but outside the house. Man, and I'm going to go down there and do a show. All right. So, hey, Rob, we appreciate you, man. To the co-hosts, appreciate each and every one of you. Got to give a shout out to my lovely daughter, Jasmine Raleigh. She had a kickball game today. So I went to go, see a 37-year-old go and kick ass and kick names. And she did. It wasn't your normal kickball tournament, or wasn't even a tournament. It was a league, but they drinking and ate. But she was a star player.
Yeah, many times.
She get it from her daddy.
Chester was in the chat. So, hey, Chester, enjoy.
Yeah. Hold on, where you at?
He's down in the chat. He is
Yeah,
in Charlotte
I gave
for
a shot.
Charlotte Cigar Week.
People. Yeah, he's in Charlotte Cigar Week. Venita, much prayer to her. Dealing with some life.
We love you.
We love you, girl. Stay focused, and our prayers are with you. And stay strong. Stay encouraged. Be encouraged. All right. Hey, look, that's our time. We thank God for you, and we hope to see you on next week, where we have Rob. Go ahead and tell them who we got next for first Tuesday in
May.
May. Yeah, right. Y'all figure it out. All right. I'm gonna finish this last little hit, and me and my daughter, we gonna go out and hang out and drink. I can't believe, I used to change this girl diapers. Now I get to drink with her. She drove me from the doggone field. I don't drive over 60, and her driving almost had me throw up in the car like I was a toddler. On that note, right, whatever. Anyway, y'all have a great time. I'll see y'all on the next show. Hey, Lasagna, got to get my girl. Lasagna, where she at? 305D was in the house. Thank you.
Hey.
Talk to y'all later. Deuces.
All right, see y'all later.